So I wanted to talk to you about my journey with the MBA Center and how I went from multiple applications and multiple decisions to becoming a candidate at MIT. And the resemblance is pretty a coincidence, especially the teeth. This is Tim. He's the mascot at MIT. It's a beaver, and he was selected as the mascot because the beaver was selected as the mascot because of its amazing engineering capabilities. First, I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Costa Rica, and for those of you who might not know where Costa Rica is, it's a very small country in Central America that's super rich in biodiversity and has an amazing natural and technological setting as well. I've lived in several countries throughout the world. In 2004, I moved to the UK, where I pursued my master's in architecture and urbanism, coming from a BE in architecture from Costa Rica. From very early on in my career, I was more interested on the innovation end of architecture. So not really the core or the center of architecture, but more around the periphery, where the discipline interfaced with different technologies and with different media. So the master's that I came to do in the UK is possibly the least architectural master's degree that you can do in the world. It's very forward-thinking, and it's very much about digital societies in the implementation of architecture and urbanism. From here, under the same drive, always interfacing with technology and innovation, I went to work with Zaha Hadid Architects, and I worked very closely with her for over 8 years. Which was an amazing experience. And I was very much focused on working on the part of idea generation. So again, not so much in the projects that were going into construction, but more on the concepts and the ideas that we're testing different built environments and different forms of architecture and built technologies. I worked as a digital design lecturer in the School of Architecture at the University of Kent before joining Space Agency, where I worked as an associate director, specializing on the visitor experience and on the wayfinding experience in a series of complex projects. So why the MBA and why now? At this point, I had 15 years into my career. I had been working mainly around very complex and technologically advanced architecture and urban proposals. And I had been interfacing regularly with a number of clients, having in-session workshops here in the UK and Saudi Arabia and in other parts of the Middle East. And I was very excited to work so closely with the client. I felt that I held my front very well in terms of design and innovation. And we had great discussions around this. And I was really looking up to the role that they had within the project, the overall picture that they managed, not only across the design, but also across other aspects of the project. And some of these key aspects were the financial aspects, in which I realized that I did not have the experience to hold my ground around these conversations. Also in liaising with different stakeholders, I felt that there was certainly a skill set that I was missing around this. I was also very keen to explore, to tap deeper into the relationship between architecture and technology. And this is where the idea to explore the possibilities of pursuing an MBA came from. So traditionally, you hear around the MBA programs affecting three key aspects. Some people make a single jump along one of these key aspects, other people make the triple jump. They say that the MBA, in terms of the leaps that in the doors that it opens up for you, it could be a change in your role, it could be a change in your industry, it could be the change in your location. In my case, I felt that it was something that I wanted to tap into across the three aspects. In terms of the role, I was very keen to move forward and take on more responsibilities that aligned more with the role of project director and be more on the client side. I was coming in with the experience of being under the architectural side, being under the user experience, and being under the landscape end of things. So I felt like I had a good knowledge of the different aspects that went into the different disciplines that went into these complex projects, but I was lacking the financial skill set And I was lacking also communication skills and soft skills in liaising with stakeholders in the projects. In terms of the industry, I was also very keen to tap deeper into the relationship between architecture and technology. And I felt that I wanted to improve my perspective on innovation, to gain a more global perspective around this, and also enhance entrepreneurship skills to build on this, on the user-centric technologies that we had been implementing across the projects. And additionally, location was also important for me. I was looking for the family, for myself and my two children, to experience personal growth throughout the duration of the MBA. It was important for me, if possible, to be closer to my family in the US. And I was looking for a program that had a strong sense of community, a vibrant city, and a city that immersed you in innovation. And this is where I met Hubert. So Hubert and I met in June 2023, that's a year ago. And we hit it off right away. We had a great conversation. We were talking nonstop. The only problem was we were sitting in the middle of a conference. So this was a conference and in London that took place in June. It's the London Top MBA event. It's part of a series of conferences that are run across Europe by assistant deans and deans of some of the top universities in the US. And speaking later to the admissions dean of MIT, she said that this is something that they have been doing for a number of years, that all the deans and assistant deans from the different universities have become very close friends, and they truly enjoy this experience of coming forward and meeting new students. I would really recommend that you attend these events. It gives you the possibility, like under a small setting, to gain different perspectives from the different schools, to get a feel of the different school cultures. And then after their presentations, you have the possibility to speak directly to the different representatives and join their conversations. And I think it's through joining these conversations and engaging directly with them that you begin to have a true sense of the culture of the school. And they are very different and they are very unique, one from the other. So I spoke with Hubert at the event, and I explained to him the reasons why I was looking for an MBA and why the MBA was important now at this stage of my life. I also told him that at this point I had been admitted to ESADE in Barcelona and that I was ready to accept their offer. And Hubert very clearly pointed out three key aspects that really resonated with my situation. The first aspect he pointed out was that 50% of my MBA learning would be coming from my peers. And the peers that I would be engaging with at ESADE, ESADE's MBA, they would be coming in with much less experience than I had myself. The ESADE MBAs cater for younger professionals. They're coming in with I don't know, between 3 to 7 years of experience, probably on average 5. And he really felt that it was important for me to explore other options where the peers would align to my experience. And I was familiar with some of these programs, but I had not really dived into it. It had not been something that I had listened and looked into much further until he pointed out the advantages of being in a room with those that have a similar experience to yourself. He also put a lot of emphasis on the fact that a top MBA would open doors for me to work anywhere. And that was very important for me, supporting my 2 young children. And he was quite certain that while the ESADE MBA would be a great experience, that it was not going to open the doors that other top MBAs would for me. And he also emphasized on the fact that my family was in the US and that they would be able there to support me. So I really liked hearing his advice. I enjoyed that it was very personalized to my circumstances and to my situation. At the same time, I was still thinking, but I mean, Barcelona is so great. Like, surely, like, living here can make up for the lack of experience of my peers and whatever. But I decided to listen. And we had a conversation with a series of conversations with Hubert and some of his colleagues. And I have to say that it was really a life-changing decision. So I decided not to take the offer at ESADE, to wait another year and to apply to other top MBA programs that were more aligned to my experience and to my interest. And we explored these programs together with the MBA Center. They were very knowledgeable in terms of what each of the programs offers and where I would potentially sit better within the classroom, within the school, and also which schools and which MBA programs were taking on professionals with more experience, with 10, 15 years of experience. And we came down to this selection. To the Berkeley has the Harvard Masters in Public Administration, the MIT Sloan Fellows, Stanford MSX, and London Business School. The three on the right, the Sloan Fellows, Stanford MSX, and the London Business Schools, they're all part of what is known as the Sloan Fellows program, and they are catered specifically to professionals in their mid-career. So people are coming in with 10 to 20 years of experience. Their groups, the classrooms are much smaller. The program at MIT and London Business School is 1 year. At Stanford, it's a 2-year program. No, it's a 1-year program, I think, as well. Yeah, it's a 1-year program, sorry. So they're more, the program is structured very differently to your experience. It's made the assumption that, you're coming in with a managerial experience, that you are perfectly capable of finding a job on your own. So there's no internship, no summer internship in these programs. And they're very focused and intense during that 1 year. So we began working together with the MBA Center. And here I've highlighted in the light pink things that I was doing on my own. And in the dark green, I've highlighted things that I was doing with the MBA Center, where they were supporting me and where we were working together pretty much on, touching base weekly, really. This phase, I've broken it down into 3 phases. I think that this phase, I'd like to call it like the exploration and initiation phase. And this is where I began diving right away into the essays, particularly your hero essay, and working very closely with Dr. Hubert and with his colleagues to really ground that essay and tell the best story possible. We refined through a number of sessions the short, mid, and long-term goals together. Another aspect for me that was quite critical, where I did need a lot of support, was the GRE. And I had amazing support from the center through stellar one-to-one tutoring with another one of the students, with Davide, and through interactive weekly group sessions with Hubert, where there were between 4 to 8 of us, 3-hour sessions every Saturday, reviewing GMAT material that was also aligned to the GRE content. On my own, while I was doing this with the MBA Center, I was also attending a lot of webinars from the schools that we had narrowed down, that we had listed. I was attending MBA events in London. I attended 2 Stanford events. I visited the London Business School twice. It made sense in a lot of ways because it was already in the UK. It would mean that the children wouldn't have to change school. So I really wanted to give London Business School a shot. But after spending 2 days with them, one of them having master classes, engaging with some of the alumni, I really felt it wasn't the right fit for me. And I think part of it was the fact that it was very concentrated around business and entrepreneurship. And I wouldn't have the possibility to tap into other departments that relate to my line of work, to design, media, and architecture. During this time, I was also reaching out to the cohort and to alumni from my favorite programs and getting in touch, keep in touch with someone in the staff, in the admin staff, and really getting to know the different school cultures. At this point, I applied for MIT because they waived the GRE exam. There was no GRE requirement, so I was able to apply to the MIT Sloan Fellows for round 1. And continued to prepare myself with the GRE for round 2 applications for the rest of the universities. During this time, the essays were being refined. I was able to reach out to Dr. Hubert and the team for any questions that I had along all sorts of things. They're really available there to help you. And I received a lot of support as well around the interview preparation. It's something that they really push for you to give your best at every step. So it was a number of rehearsals and go again. Okay, introduce yourself again. So I think that's really great that they really push you to give the best. I was attending more webinars. At this point, I was really focusing on two main schools, on the Stanford MSX and on the MIT Sloan Fellows programs. These were my favorite. So while I was preparing applications for the rest of the schools, I was really attending the webinars and engaging with alumni and cohort just from MIT and from Stanford. When I was admitted into MIT, I decided that I was not going to apply to round 2 to the rest of the schools, that MIT was really my dream school, that it aligned to all of the aspects that I was, trying to take to entrepreneurship, to innovation, and to having a really strong sense of community. Some of the schools that I had spoken to, I would ask them about, so can you tell me a little bit about the family life on campus? And the response would be like, oh, families. Yes, we have families. Whereas MIT had a whole community structured set up around what they call the SOS, the significant others. And that was really important for me. So once I was admitted, I went into this phase that I called onboarding. There were lots more webinars to attend to around housing, around visas, around relocating to the US, as well as the whole admissions process, and also like the different centers that they offer and all the offerings that they have. So there were a lot of webinars to attend. At this point, engaging with other candidates became key. So we have a number of WhatsApp groups where we're communicating, constantly exchanging information and helping each other. It was also important to speak to the cohort and to alumni. How do we do this? How do I get around that? And a series of onboarding process requirements like math preparation course that we had to take, and the 360 leadership assessment. So you can see here by this stage, the lighter green bubbles have kind of overtaken the space, but the MBA Center was still there. Whenever I needed to ask something to Hubert. There were a number of questions around my application and around other issues. He was always available, so I was always able to touch base with him. And then this aspect of giving back through the webinars and through supporting other students. So one of the things that really resonated with me, that has resonated me from MIT from the beginning, is that they're very supportive of each other. And they have this motto that says, no fellow left behind. And all the students are there to support each other. So whatever expertise, whatever knowledge you hold, you're there to share it with the others and support others who may be struggling in that field. And that's something that resonated from the beginning and that I was able to see was really has been actioned throughout the whole process. So MIT was my preferred school. It was providing me the safe environment to test and bring ideas forward and explore different aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship. And it had that really strong sense of community that would enable my kids and my mom, who would be living with us, to have a great year and to have a wonderful experience as well, to grow as well. So they have a number of different centers and different programs that are supporting different ventures, and they start from the classroom. They can start from yourself, and you can bring them forward. And there's really a lot of initiative and drive to bring these ideas to the real world. And that was a great motivation for me and for my line of work, trying to build on technologically advanced environments that are really user friendly. At MIT, through the Sloan Fellows as well, we have the possibility to attend classes at Harvard, as long as you are taking more than 50% of your credits at MIT. You can take the rest as many as you want at Harvard. They also have 2 departments that I have been following throughout my career, the MIT Sensible City Lab, that does a lot of very experimental work around urbanism, and the MIT Media Lab that's always like testing and bringing like very cutting edge proposals into how we engage with different technologies. They also had the wonderful community, SOS community for the family, for the kids, and in a number of other services to support them, like a little free shuttle that takes them from the school to some of the key locations in Boston. So I thought that was really the right school for me. And I just wanted to say here, like, I think that the whole onboarding process is quite overwhelming. There are a lot of different requirements to meet. So it doesn't end once you have applied. It's a whole year. It's preparing your application, going through the whole interview phase, then going through the whole onboarding, then the whole preparation in order to get, to relocate to another country. There's visas, there's housings, there's schools in my case that I have to look into. So I would just recommend that you start getting these things done as soon as possible and not leave everything to the end, because it can be really overwhelming. And then lastly, I just wanted to share some different tips that were given to me by the students that are currently there in the program, and that really resonated with me at different parts of this journey. So in phase 1, when I was exploring, one of the moms said to me, if you're feeling outside your comfort zone, you're doing the right thing. And that really made me, okay, move forward. Yes, let's do this. It's a push. It's a chance to grow. Throughout the whole kind of like mid-process, we were engaging with a lot of other students. You're listening to a lot of your other experiences. And someone pointed out that it's great to listen to what others are saying, but at the end of the day, like, your experience will be unique, and you will tailor each step of your journey to your interests, and make your own journey. So yes, listen to what others are saying, but don't expect to follow the footsteps of anyone. And then recently, now moving forward, ready to go into the classes and everything, one of the current students advised that, that we really research the professors that you want to work with and focus on impressing them and getting their attention, that it's not possible to be the best student in every class, that he really, selected the 2 professors that he was keen to collaborate with and was able to get an assistantship with them. So yes, that's it from my end.
Yeah, okay, it's it's very complete, Maria. There's not much to say. You have said everything. So yes, basically, our meeting was probably a life-changing meeting, because as you know, you had been accepted to ESADE, and we discussed together so that you change decision. Okay, and I think I was right for at least 3 reasons. First of all, because the Sloan Fellow is a program that is really designed for someone like you. So it's a mid-career experience, and you're in mid-career. You're not you're not a professional with 2 or 3 years of work experience. Second of all, I felt that, of course, MIT is a brand that you cannot refuse. Of course, ESADE is very good for the bachelor, for some masters, but maybe for the MBA, they're still not there. And finally, also the job markets. You cannot compare today's job market to today's to what we have in Europe. Basically, probably in the UK, it is slightly different. It's in between, but basically in Europe, we are becoming poor. And in America, it's a different story. I was talking to American professors yesterday and to the management at UPenn, and they told me things like, when you arrive, you buy your car, you buy a house, well, it's only $500,000. So, but how come as a teacher I can have $500,000? And these people working for the administration, they were not even professors. So basically, we live in a different world. That's why it's better for you to go, especially Spain. Okay, you're a native speaker, but you're fully fluent in both languages. Spain doesn't have a lot of potential. So today you will be done with your MBA, and what will be for you? Okay, and I don't know what people have with Barcelona, but coming from France, knowing Nice, Antibes, honestly, in the Mediterranean, there's much better than Barcelona. Okay, people they should go to Nice, they should go to Antibes. The beach in Barcelona is terrible. For me, okay, Marseille is better than Marseille. The problem is that in Marseille, well, there are issues with security, but so it's a good thing. We are going to make a big mistake. It's a good thing that we met. By the way, I'm going. I was reminding David that I'm going to the same seminar in 3 weeks. Okay,
The same
I
seminar.
hope it will be
Top
very good.
MBA.
But David will not be there, unfortunately, but I will be there alone. And I was saying that it's, but I will go with students of mine who have been accepted, who have accepted to go there, collect names, so help me. And yes, it was a good meeting. And basically, your experience is an experience that explains why we are here. Okay, that we can change through education, we can change the future of the people. And it was a pleasure to work with you, and
Likewise.
honestly. And I hope that you're going to do very well in life, and I'm sure that you do very well in life. Of course, we stay in contact.
Of course.
I want to be, and also as a human being, and also as a professional, I want to understand what you get, what you gain. It's obvious that you're going to stay in America. It's obvious, and I would like to see where you're going to move. But at the same time, Boston is the right place. Maybe stay where you are. And probably for your kids, it's important because you cannot move them every year. Probably it's good that they find. No, but you agree. It's good that they find a place. You're not
Yes.
going to change school every year, so probably you live there because for you and because for your kids as well, until they graduate. After that, it will be another story. You'll have more freedom. And yes, so I don't know when I will go to America, but I will be very happy to see you and also to share your experience because I think
I would love
it's
that.
very important. And now, of course, now Marianne, you have to work on it now. Is you have to prepare the after the MBA because it's going to arrive very soon. It's a
Yes.
short program. And if I were you, I will start to prepare right now. I will start to have interviews very, very soon. Have you planned interviews already, or no? You're not in this.
We're doing the
Yeah.
360 leadership assessment, but it is something that it starts from the very beginning, and I hope to follow that through the whole year.
But I really suggest that you
Yeah.
have interviews right away. Okay,
Yes.
don't say yes. I want to finish my MBA. After the MBA, it will be too late. So
Yeah, it's
basically, you
better
have
to do it
interviews
right
now. You have
away.
to say, I need to have a job by Christmas. I need to have a job. It has to be. You see, for instance, I give you an example at London Business School. They have MIM, MFA, so they have 1 year program that are even 9 months. They do something very intelligent. The first 2 months you have very few classes, and the first 2 months are to find a job. So for mid-August to mid-October, it's just spend their time finding a job.
Finding the
And then
jobs.
they have a lot of courses and electives the last 2 months. And I find it's the best thing to do when you have a short contract. Okay.
Yes.
But that, for instance, what INSEAD does, where you arrive and they give you a lot of work. Okay. And for the first 6 months, and then they say after that you have time to. It's not the right approach. Anyway, I don't think that anyway INSEAD has the right approach at all. Okay, for anything. And but that is stupid. You have to say the first 2 months should be for job search, okay? And then you feel relief. And it's going to arrive very soon. You see, Maria, it will arrive very soon. We met 1 year ago.
A
In
year
1 year
goes
at the
by
same
so
time,
quickly.
you'll be done with your MBA.
Yeah.
When is it done? Late June, early July?
31st of May, so it's exactly 1 year.
It's exactly 1 year. So it means that when you start in 1 year, exactly in 1 year. So when we met, get a job, if I apply for jobs as soon as you can. Okay. So basically, I like this thing. We don't have to do an interview because I said that you said a lot. People would be interested to share your experience because it's very structured and to share how it went. I will write a comment on the video, but it's Senia, it's a bit of change and she has spent time on it. Senia,
Yes.
And people understand very well. And even when people say, okay, what can we do for you? Watch this video, and she explains very well what we can do for you, what MBA Center does.
I really enjoyed working with you very much, and I really felt that you cared for me genuinely at a personal level.
Of course. I care for every student, but every student with collaborating with me, because sometimes I have some students. For instance, this morning I was in my GMAT class, 2 left. Okay, so they should not be they should not complain that their GMAT will not be very good. And it's not the first time that these two leave. So there is just I can just help you, but it has to be a teamwork. And if the other person does not want to work, it will not work. So let me know how it goes. Huh? Maybe I will even be happy to write an article about you once a month, a post, so that people can share your experience. Huh? Have a good day, Maria. Thank you very much.
You too. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for everything. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Just leave the